Okay, guys. Lesson 3.3, if you will. Today is what? The
28.
28. There we go.
Or 30th, I'm not
I
sure.
saw an A. That's fine.
I think you only get
Except after me.
Okay. Now, as we get started in lesson 3.3, folks, the difference, yesterday it was solving systems of equations. Today it's solving systems of inequalities. So, what's that mean in terms of graphing?
We get to shade.
We get to shape. Okay? So, yesterday we were graphing lines. Where do they cross? What is that one point they meet at? Today, it's not where do the lines cross, it's where do their shadows cross, their shadings cross. Now, okay. Example 1. G plus M greater than or equal to 6, 5G plus 2M less than or equal to 20. How are you with this problem? Pretty good.
I don't like it.
Okay, there we go. I needed someone to state it out loud. Why don't you like it, Alexis?
I just don't like it.
Oh, you just don't like these in general.
What is the G?
I was, okay. There, Noah just said it. What is the G? Okay, what can we think of instead?
Why?
X and Y.
Yeah, you can think of this if you want as X and Y.
Oh,
So G is X then?
So yes, and when I say that, think alphabetically. G comes before M alphabetically, X comes before Y alphabetically, pair them up that way. So as we look at this first one, I'm going to think X plus Y greater than or equal to 6. Does that work? Okay. With that in mind, how do I graph?
We have to put an X, Y equals MX.
Right. We want Y equals MX plus B form. So we want to solve and get Y by itself. How do I get Y by itself?
Subtract the X from both sides.
Okay, if we have a positive X here, we're trying to move the positive X over, so we're going to subtract X. If I subtract X on the left, subtract X on the right. So X's cancel. Y greater than or equal to, carry that sign down, right? Don't lose it. 6 minus X.
I did negative X plus 6.
I do like negative X plus 6. And what form is that in?
Y equals MX plus B.
Yeah, that is in Y equals MX plus B. Which means, okay, let's go ahead and graph this one while we're at it. If you need to, write in, remember X-axis is horizontal, Y-axis is vertical. Okay, where do we start our graph at?
6Y.
Okay, review. Y-intercept of 6, right? So, up 6?
Yeah.
Because Y-axis is up and down, so, you know, the quality of this graph is not great, but man, when I blow it up on here, it's even worse. Oof. Okay. Need to update my notes at this point, but, okay, what about my slope? Yeah.
Down one, right one.
My slope is this invisible negative 1, right? What is negative 1 as a fraction?
Negative 1 over.
Negative 1 over 1. And what's my phrase?
Rise over.
Rise over run. So, from that point, I'm going to rise negative 1, which means I'm going to go down 1,
Right.
right 1. Down 1, right 1. Now, yesterday I was kind of dot crazy, wasn't I? Maybe over the top for some of you. I did that because we wanted to see where the two lines met. Today, it's more about where the shadings meet. So you can do a handful of dots. You don't have to go quite as dot crazy as yesterday. However, though, I don't know, the more dots I put up here, the straighter my line's going to be. So, but yeah, you don't have to do all the dots. Now, okay. This is an inequality, yes? 2 questions to graph this. What are these 2 questions? Solid or dashed line or solid or dotted line. How do I decide if it's a solid or a dashed line? The sign. It's equal to, yes? Because it's equal to, that means I'm going to do a solid line. Okay, so I can connect these dots. Typically, right? No big deal there. Where am I going to shade?
Under it.
Your choices are above or below. What type of sign was this?
Greater than.
Greater than. Any type of greater than tells me to shade above. Now, what I'm going to say is, yes, you need to shade above. I would keep it kind of light, because keep in mind, are we done with this problem?
Nope.
No. Now, okay, I have all days to pick this, try this. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of, there's my kind of light shading, just kind of indicating this is, you know, I would do this differently on paper. Okay, now what? We got to do the other one. So, instead of 5g plus 2m, you guys are going to like me better, I think, if I say 5x plus 2y less than or equal to 20. So, if I say 5x minus 2y less than or equal to, plus 2y, you got to take care of. You say, I can provide a pencil. I can't provide lead, but. Okay. What are you guys doing to graph this?
Subtract the 5x and the
Okay. Get y by itself. So subtract 5x. So then I'm going to have 2y less than or equal to,
5x. Negative 5x.
okay, you can put it as 20 minus 5x if you want. My preference is to say negative 5x plus 20. Since it's 2 times y, we are going to divide by 2. Divide every term by 2. Y, let me stop and ask real quick while we're here. When is it we reverse an inequality sign?
Divide by negative.
Okay, if you multiply or divide by negative. Here I'm dividing by positive 2. So I'm going to keep less than or equal to negative 5 halves x. We like that fraction. That's a good place to have a fraction, isn't it? Plus 10. Okay. Did we get our form?
Yeah.
Y equals mx plus b. Where's the first dot I make?
10.
Okay. Up 10. Can I go up 10?
Yes.
Okay. One of the differences about me being up and stuff, I'm not looking at my notes as much to like see where I'm at. So it's a little different. I have to get used to it. Okay, so we went up 10. Now what am I going to do from that up 10?
Now 5 right.
Yeah. Remember, rise over run. So if I put the negative with the 5 from there, I'm going to go down 5. And run 2, which means I'm going right 2. I'm going to go again. Down 5, right 2. Down 5, right 2. I kept going with my dots because I want to be able to see my whole thing. I can't really go up 5 and left 2 on this one. Okay. Questions to ask yourself. Is it a solid or a dashed line?
So,
Why is it solid? Because again, it's equal to, right? When it's equal to, it's a solid line. So, mine doesn't?
Yours does.
Okay, solid line. What's my other question?
You shade above.
Do I shade above or below?
Below.
This one, my sign was less than or equal to, so I'm shading below. Now, where's below this line? Happens to be the left here, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I say, when I'm doing this in pencil, you guys know I do more typical, like, just shading, right? Okay. Now, what if I tell you I'm not quite happy with this as a final product? I want one small step before we move on. What?
You have to spot where it overlaps.
Yeah. Right here, as I look at this, what's my answer?
The area where it
Exactly. You don't know, right? Okay. But, well, so here's what I ask that you do. Do a little bit darker the area that is your final answer.
Like,
So where does my shading overlap?
I just did my
So, on mine, okay, where do my red and blue overlap? And my red and blue are in this little V here, aren't they? So what I'm going to do, so it's obvious, is I'm going to come up here. I'm using a different color, you know, which you don't have to use a different color, but even like here, if you look on my previous notes, and I know you can't necessarily see that great, but you see light shading, and then do you see the obvious dark shading?
Yeah.
I don't want to have to question if I'm grading a quiz or a test, where's their answer? I want you telling me, this is my answer, Mrs. Sargent, right here. Does that work for you? Okay. Algebra 1 review? Technically? Really, we already graphed, last chapter, we graphed single linear inequalities, didn't we? Now we're just putting it together. Okay, question 2, and there's 6 graphs today. We're not doing all 6 graphs. We're not doing all 6. We're going to do, at most, 4. We'll see if we even get through 4. So, I do want to look at the next one I thought would be a good one.
Is it all the same?
The back side has something slightly bit different, so. Okay, are you ready for me to move this? No. Okay, so good question. She says we don't have to write, like, you're just talking the ordered pair we did yesterday with numbers. There are no number answers here.
It's just shading.
Yeah. Which is why, because there are no number answers, it's so important that make sure I know where your overlapping shading is, right? Don't make me question, that's really dark, that's really dark. I don't know where she's shading. Now, one thing I want to comment on, I don't know, something you kind of know that will help you. When 2 lines cross, that breaks our graph into 4 pieces, yes? There is one of these 4 pieces should have both shadings. 2 of these pieces have
Different color.
single shadings. And what about that 4th piece? Should you have shaded anything there? No. There's no shading there because the red went this way, the blue went this way. There's nothing in this area. So just kind of, an indicator that something, it's working out if you have 1 double shaded area, 2 single shaded areas, and then a non-shaded area. Okay? Okay. Now, in order to move this up, but the nice thing is it's there on the recording, so. Okay. Now, let's try the second one. We'll skip the third one, go to the back here in a moment. X plus y greater than 4, y greater than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1. Okay. We're definitely doing some review at this point, aren't we? Okay. What is that step 1 to try and graph this?
Get the X by the side.
Okay, because we're going for what form?
Y equals B.
Y equals mx plus b is my suggestion. So, if we're going to try and get y by itself, positive x, and I'm going to subtract y, carry that greater than sign down.
Negative X plus Y.
Okay, you can leave as 4 minus x. I like to put the x term first and say negative x plus 4. So I've got the minus x, which is negative x, the positive 4 plus 4. Okay. That was easy enough, wasn't it? Okay, we're in that form, y equals mx plus b. What's the first place I start? What are we doing here? 4 on the y-axis, y-intercept, so up 4. That's my b value, right? What is my slope?
Down, the right one.
Yeah. The invisible number here in front of x is negative 1. So negative 1 as a fraction is negative 1 over 1, rise over run.
He is quarantined. Won't be back till Friday. It's okay.
Okay. Now, this looks, you know what?
It's a negative plus sign.
I know, that looks weird, doesn't it? I know, I forget. Can I use my hand as an eraser? Oh, I can't. Okay. We're going to start over. So, m is negative 1. As a fraction, it's negative 1 over 1. Is that better, Noah?
Yeah.
Okay. It was bugging me too, don't worry. Again, remember that phrase? Rise over run. So, from this point right here, I'm going to go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. If you prefer, you could have instead gone up 1, left 1. Up 1, left 1. Make as many or as few dots as you want. 2 questions. Solid dotted line. Why?
Because it doesn't have
It's
an
not
equal to.
equal.
Okay. It's not equal to. Because it's not equal to, I think I was saying dashed. You guys are saying dotted. We're still speaking the same language, aren't we? Dashed line, dotted line.
It's dotted.
Some type of broken up line. So when I connect this, I'm doing pieces. Okay, so it's a dashed line. Am I going to shade above or below? We're going to shade above because this is some type of greater than sign. Is above fairly obvious on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, there's my above. Ready for your other one? Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. What do you notice about this one?
We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it's y equals mx plus b already, isn't it? That makes life better. One less step. So, where does my graph start? My b value is 1. So y-intercept of 1 means I'm going to go up 1. Okay? What else do we know? Slope is negative 1/2, so I'm going to go down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. However many times you feel like doing that. You can also reverse that and go Up 1, left 2. Just realized when I copied this down as y equals. Notice they're not equals. We're not doing that. We're not doing equals today. So, what sign is this? Greater than or equal to. What's equal tell me to do? A solid line. Okay. What kind of shading?
Above.
Oh, this one is greater than also, so I'm going to be shading above. Where is above? Kind of hard to tell there, isn't there? Okay. So here's the deal. In all that craziness, you've got to figure out where that answer is. Where is that answer?
It's above the blue
Above the blue,
and the red.
and then the red down here at the right, isn't it? So, when I'm trying to indicate to you guys where my answer is, this is a mess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. You're colorblind.
That is a mess.
Yep.
What a day for me to experiment with the BenQ with you guys. So, this is it. It went well 6-star yesterday. It's just maybe not ideal for graphing, but then again, it is good for graphing in a way too. Okay, so here's what might be more helpful. My notes from last year look like this. Is that a little more realistic?
I don't know. Mine.
Here, and in fact, oh no, I lost that. Well, so if you're trying to compare and the BenQ screen is just not quite working for you. Even last year it was a mess on paper, wasn't it? It's a mess any way you go about it. There is an advantage to using maybe just pencil instead of the colored pens, so. Okay. Got the basics.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, flip to the next page if you would, please.
Ew.
Oh.
I still. My hand has
The
blue
immediate use.
And we are going to start on the top one on the back side, I believe. Yeah. If we have time to do both, we'll do the top and the bottom. We'll see how time goes here. Okay. So, I heard some oohs. Are you saying you didn't care for the looks of this?
No.
I'm sorry. Very disgusting. Okay. Good to
Wait, but
know.
how do you shade it instead of V?
You'll see.
Oh, same way we shaded V's last chapter.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's a time for everything. Let's go here. First of all, this is Elena's favorite type right here. Elena's giving me that look like, ugh. Okay. Y less than or equal to 3. This is graphing the line. Y equals 3. Huh?
I got it now.
You got it?
Failing times.
Okay. You have to know, and I warned you guys yesterday, right? You have to know how to graph this. Y equals 3. Where do we go for Y equals 3?
3.
Okay. If it's Y equals 3, on the Y axis, we need to touch where Y equals 3, right? So on the Y axis, we're going to touch right there. And then where else are the rest of my Y equal 3s? Everywhere left and right. So when it says y equals 3, you need a line that crosses through at y equals 3. So here at 1 comma 3, 2 comma 3, so on and so forth. Okay? What type of line and what type of shading?
Solid and shaded.
That was a prank call. Good news.
And the lands down under.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard solid because it is equal to.
That is a straight line by accident. The,
Where are we shading?
the land down under.
The land down under.
Yeah.
So if I ask above or below and Noah says the land down under, we're going to assume he means below.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Now that song's stuck in my head.
Okay.
Down under.
Now, next one. Y greater than or equal to absolute value of x minus 1. Some people are talking about V's. Why are we talking about V?
Because the absolute value.
Right. Remember last chapter we learned that an absolute value is a V-shaped graph, isn't it? So when you see absolute value in homework, you're graphing a V. Now, what do we know about this absolute value? The minus 1 inside the absolute value tells us we're moving where? Minus 1 inside the parentheses tells us we're going to move right 1. This is something we had from last chapter that I still remember. So you might want it at times.
Really confusing.
Just taking a walk. Okay, so minus 1 tells me to move right 1. Okay, so right 1 from where? From 0. So from the origin, I'm going to go right 1. That's my new vertex, yes? Now, based on the fact that this is just absolute value of x minus 1, there's nothing in front of the absolute value, nothing in front of the x. What's my v look like? Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1? Those slopes are just a 1 on each side. So we can go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. On the left side of the v, you also go up 1, except it's up 1, left 1. And then we have the same questions. What type of, I say line, what type of v is it? Because it's equal to? It is a solid v. And you're still asking above or below. It's greater than, which tells me I'm going to shade
Inside the V.
above. Now, you still have some type of drawing, right? Above says, in this case, inside the V. There's my inside the V. I want to know, final answer.
The triangle.
Little triangle.
Okay. The little triangle here is where my red and blue overlap. Now, don't count it on always being that. Okay? Don't count on it always being that, but it could be. Okay. You guys got what you need there?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to move us down to example 3. Example 3. It has some good stuff. Now, the good news is it keeps up through the errors. At least it seemed to yesterday when I tried this out. Okay. Okay, so y less than -3, absolute value of x plus 3 plus 1. Okay, absolute value tells me what's the shape going to be. It's a V we're graphing. Okay, what am I going to do with this V?
Graph it.
The plus 3 in the absolute value tells me to go where? Left to right 3, opposite the sign. Since it's plus 3, we're going to go left 3. And I'm kind of guiding you guys because I'm short on time here.
And it's
The plus 1 outside
means we go
tells me to go where?
one.
Up or down, the direction of the sign. So we're going to go up 1. What does this -3 act as?
It's a stretch of
Okay, it's a stretch of 3 with a negative means a reflective. Here's what's, so this V, instead of going to be a V, is going to be upside down, right? Here's the deal. Think of this -3 as a slope. So think of this, if we think of this as a slope, it's -3 over 1. That will be the right side of your V. And then the left side of your V, you just reflect. So, okay, here we go. I'm starting at 0, 0. Where am I going? Left 3, up 1. There's my vertex, yes? Now, normally, typical V, we go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. Now, because of this slope, I'm going to go down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. Now that's the right side of your V. The slope always applies to the right side of your V. What do I do on the other side of the V? You reflect it. It's down 3, left 1. And there's your V. That was a big part of what I wanted to make sure we got through, is how do we graph this V? Those of you that haven't taken the Chapter 2 test, you're getting extra help with this type stuff. Which, if you haven't taken that test, make sure you stop and see me. Set up a time. Okay, what type of V is this? Solid or dashed? Ooh, it's a dashed one, huh? And are we going to shade above or below? Okay, so because it was less than, I'm going to shade below. Because it was not equal to, it's going to be a dashed V. My dashed V is looking something like this. Where's below the V supposed to be? It so happens it's inside. Where would outside the V be? Or, no. Where would above the V be? That would happen to be outside. So you can't shade outside. It just depends. Now, real quick, let's see if we can get the other one in. X plus Y plus 5 greater than or equal to 0. What is this shape going to be? This is a line. There's no absolute value. This is a plain old line. Now, we need y equals mx plus b, so to get y by itself, I'm going to say subtract x, subtract 5. So y greater than or equal to negative x minus 5. Does that sound okay? You can graph this, right? Y equals mx plus b. So my b value says we're going to go down 5. My m is a slope of negative 1. So negative 1 over 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. You can also go up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. 2 questions. Solid or dashed? Above or below? If you don't know how to, if you don't understand those questions, please ask. or grab out your chapter 2 notes. So it's a solid because it was equal to. I'm shading above because it's greater than. Now, I feel like it's like the $1 million question here.
Slow triangle.
Where is your answer?
Small baby triangle.
The baby triangle. I like it.
Baby triangle.
No.
No, I don't like that.
I want to know where we get.
Okay, your homework is in Math Excel, lesson 3.3. As I said, I don't know how to count in this chapter. I'm purposely going out of order. Okay? Lesson 3.3. I'm not doing any more. You've seen 4 examples, folks. You've seen the gist of what you're doing. Okay? So plan to get that finished up for tomorrow, please.
You probably have our